Ooh. Oh, okay. Might have to keep my voice down a little bit. It's late and we got neighbors, so you guys can hear me okay at this level here, right? Just a consensus among you. I'll wait. Yes. Okay. Just making sure. I might sound a little croaky because I have to talk in hushed tones. I don't want to be yelling. Okay, just making sure you guys can hear. Okay, so as I was telling you guys earlier, I every once in a while got to go to union meetings when I was a kid, when my dad was president. And like I said, I would pay attention to all of them. But the first one that I got to go to was probably why I paid attention to all of them. Because it was it was awesome. So my dad's, he's telling me, hey, yeah, I'm gonna have to take you to this meeting, and you're gonna you bring a book, and I'm gonna take you to McDonald's. We'll get you something to eat real quick. You can eat that. You just gotta sit over there on the couch in the corner, and we're gonna sit at the table, and Daddy's gonna, he's explaining it to me. I'm like, okay, whatever. But as he's explaining to me, he's like, yeah, Daddy's gonna sit there, and he's gonna talk to people, and some of those people, they might yell at your dad, okay? But you just have to understand that it's like, this is how, and I was like, what? I didn't say that. I just sat and listened, but my mind was like, huh? He's like, you know what I mean? He's trying to he's trying to explain it. Like, yeah, some of these people, they might yell at each other. I'm just getting I'm so intrigued. I'm so intrigued. And he goes, but I just want you to know, Peaches, okay? None of them are going to hurt you. They're angry at each other, but they're not going to hurt each other. They're just really, they might be mad, okay? And he was like, and that might not happen at all. That might not happen at all. It might just be we sit around and have a boring old talk. But, you know what I mean? And dude, I'm a little boy. How old was I at this point? Probably, I don't know, 7, maybe 6. And I'm just like, fuck yeah, yes, yes. In my mind. Outwardly, I'm like, okay, all right, all right. But in my mind, I'm like, dude, people are going to be yelling. It's going to be like wrestling. I had no idea. So we get there. I've got my little bag of McDonald's. I go over to the couch, and it's this, it's a comfy little couch that they have over there to just chill at before the meeting. And when the meeting starts, I'm the only one on it because they're all sitting around the table. And it's a big, long, rectangular table, and they're all sitting around it, mafia style, with my dad sitting at the head. I'm not saying that this, see, this is why you got to be careful when you're telling stories. I'm not saying that this particular union joint was part of the mafia. I was making an allusion to the way that the mafia is portrayed in movies, with the Don sitting at the head of the table, okay? I just want to make that completely clear. No, seriously, no mafia. It was just a glass molders union. Anyway, my dad's sitting at the head of the table. All his union reps are sitting around him, and anybody that has a grievance, which is what a union calls anybody that's butthurt. That's it. Grievance is the term that unions decided to use so they wouldn't have to use the term butthurt. Now, sometimes that butthurt is totally justified, as is some butthurt in real life, but you know what I mean. That's what it means. The people that had a grievance would be at the end of the table, and it was their turn. When it was their turn, they would stand up and address the union and for redress of their grievance. Okay? So there were a bunch of people in attendance, most of whom I knew because I was, around them a lot. But there was one dude there, I knew him too, but I'd never been around him outside of this context. And it was also one of the first times I realized that Santa Claus was bullshit, because there was a guy there. I've changed his name for privacy purposes. Say his name is Joe Beavers. Joe Beavers is there. And it's right around Christmas time that this is going on. And every Christmas, Joe Beavers would dye his beard completely white, and he'd play Santa Claus. And he was a badass Santa Claus. But after that, he'd do the Just for Men gel shit, and he'd put it back. So nobody knew, you know, so the kids around town didn't know that he was the Santa of the town. But Joe Beavers was also an employee of the plant that the union represented. And it was around Christmas time. And Joe Beaver, so basically, I'm 6, 7 years old, and Santa Claus is sitting there dressed in a, you know, glass plant outfit, and he's pissed. I'm telling you, this is the best, this is the best fucking story. I looked at everybody at the table, and everybody's just kind of like, you know, some of them look bored, some are laughing and chuckling. Santa Claus is pissed. He's like, you know, he's doing the Trump thing, like Trump at a press conference with his arms folded in front of him, just like the, And I'm just like, oh, what the fuck? Because that was, you know what I mean? That was the dude that played Santa down at the store every year that we went and, we got pictures with him and shit. And it was him, you know, because it was fucking Christmas time. He has fucking beard dye. Anyway. Meeting goes on as normal. There's really no heated exchanges or something. I'm actually kind of getting bored at one point. And I'm starting to tune out. But then they say, all right, next on the agenda appears, you know, member Joe Beavers has a grievance that he would like to file. And he didn't even let the dude finish. He said, "You bet your fucking ass I do." And I was like, oh, it's happening. And it's Santa. Oh my God. He goes, "You bet your fucking ass I've got a grievance." And he stands up and he's got something in his hand. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, what the fuck's he got? Everybody's kind of like, "Joe, sit down, Joe. Joe, sit the fuck down, Joe. Come on." You know, and he's like, no. I'm going to be heard, goddammit. I'm a member of this motherfucking union, just like any of you cocksuckers in here. And I got a goddamn grievance, and I'm going to have my fucking president, and I'm going to have my fucking board hear my fucking grievance. I can't tell you guys how electric this shit was. I was flabbergasted. Most everybody else seemed to be too. There wasn't a lot of people even bothering to try and calm Joe Beavers down. Guess it was known, not by me. And he goes, in his hand, right? So anyway, he's got something in his hand, and he's shaking it around as he's talking, and I'm looking. And, and I'm like, what is that in his hand? And it's like, I finally figured out it's a wadded up, like, towel. Like a towel that you would use to dry your face off in the bathroom or something. You know what I mean? Not a full-blown, like, beach towel, but, like, you know, a little hand towel. The slightly bigger variety. You know, the one you might use to wash your hands and, you know. Anyway, whatever. So, and he's got it all kind of balled up, and parts of it are hanging. He's shaking it around, and he goes, "You want to see the grievance? Let me just show it to you." And the whole fucking place sat back, me included. My dad at the head of the table was like, The whole place was just like, "Yep, we want to see it." And he unveils it. This was the funniest shit that I'd ever fucking seen in my life. I can't believe I've never told this story, honestly, but it's just, you know, it's one of those things. It's in the files. Fucking, I shit you not, he unveils it. And it says on it, in big block letters, somebody had taken a marker and written Joe Beavers crying towel. Oh my God. I shit you not, dude. I shit you not. So I didn't get the joke. I was a little kid. The whole table erupted in laughter. I can't, I, I can't even describe you how, when he unveiled it, it was like he thought he was unveiling the pirate flag, his ultimate piece of evidence. And when they read it, when everybody got a chance to read what it said, it started with like little snickers. And then it was like, and the people were obviously like, trying to hold it back. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And Joe blew his fucking stack. I knew I wouldn't get any representation in this motherfucking union. I'm taking this up. This kind of harassment, they left this in my locker. You understand? They left this hanging outside of my locker. What's next? Death threats to Joe Beaver's family? Is that going to be funny too? I'm not taking this goddamn bullshit from this fucking goddamn motherfucking union no more. And he grabs his crying towel and he stomps the fuck out. The room is fucking dead silent. Everybody is leaned back, having just kind of been craning to watch Joe storm out of the fucking meeting. I'm fucking dead silent because I don't know what the fuck. And my dad leans forward and kind of puts his elbows on the table, and he looks at everybody and he says, does anybody else have any business to bring before the union tonight? And nobody said anything. And he said, all right, I consider this meeting adjourned. And that was it. He came and grabbed me by the hand and we went home. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. Poor Joe. Oh man. Oh shit. But you can imagine after that, I paid attention to every fucking word and learned all of the little terms and, anything I could pick up. I was fucking enthralled, at that point. I was enthralled, because it was beautiful. It was really a beautiful thing to see a human being so passionate about something, given a platform to just yell his motherfucking head off, and everybody just sat and listened, And, he probably had a point. I mean, maybe he was over-dramatizing it a little bit, but he probably shouldn't have to, if he's a dude that comes into the union with grievances, he should have those heard. And I think the implication was, and I've talked to my father about it, later in life, because I've chuckled about this with him before, and I've asked him, what do you think that crying towel shit was? He said, that they were just saying that, Joe was in there all the time. And Joe was always, not just at these smaller meetings, but at the big, monthly meetings where the whole membership get there. He makes a big old show of it every time, and people are tired of it. And, tired of it. The Joe Waters show. They just want to get through the goddamn meeting and be done with it. And somebody, I don't know who it was, but somebody decided to, write that on his fucking hand towel and leave it on his locker one day as a message to shut the fuck up, because everybody's tired of him, It was not a thing. He's like, the laugh told you what everybody thought about it being a threat of violence, If it was like, I'm going to kill you or some shit. But he was like, the implication was clear. Shut the fuck up, Joe. Whatever. There's a lot of colorful characters in my dad's union, and they had great names. Joe Beavers has a great name as well. It's not Joe Beavers. And I wish I could just use their real names, because Joe Beavers' real name is better than Joe Beavers, but, whatever. There was another dude, I don't really have any stories about him. I only ran into him a few times, but his name was, Phil Smalley, or whatever the fuck. Just a big black dude that smoked like a freight train. He was a union representative that was higher up than my dad. One of the guys that was a go-between between my dad and the union at large. And he was a character, man. He would pull my dad into a meeting. He'd be like, one of my dad's favorite stories was like, he told me, and my dad does this fucking impersonation of him, and it was dead on. And you'll just have to believe me. Like, I'm not trying to be racist or anything. But he would say, Parky, here's what you're going to do. You're going to meet me downstairs in the lobby. They were staying at a fucking hotel, for a union conference. Parky, get your ass up. You're going to meet me down in the lobby. My dad was like, all right, Phil. So he gets up, he gets down there. Phil's standing over, by the restrooms. Like standing by the bathrooms, craning his neck, looking for my dad. Shit, I just almost said his whole fucking name. Phil was a big dude. And I'm not just talking fat. He was that too, but he was just like linebacker big. You know what I mean? Like, just big hulking dude. And he goes, come on, Parky. Come on now. Walks into the bathroom. And my dad's like, all right. And Phil walks in there and says, he says, do you mind sitting down and taking the stall next to me while I take care of some business? I just want to get this meeting out of the way. My dad was like, you want me to sit here with you while you shit, Phil? And Phil said, that's what I'm asking. And my dad said, okay. And so he sat down in the stall next to Phil. And they had a talk while Phil, dropped a blumpkin. Just funny, dude. Might as well say their names. Well, both of the men in this story are dead. And I don't like, I don't like making fun of people who are dead, who can't speak up about the incident and shit. And, really that would come on the shoulder. Like if this ever did get real popular or something and somebody made the connection, you know what I mean? Then it would be their family that would suffer because of that. I don't want to do that because of something he did.